Hello, Internet. Welcome to this week's In the Know session. I'm Chrisella Herzog. I'm the CEO of Humble and Hustle Studios. And this week we're going to talk about some branding strategies and some of the, particularly why one branding strategy may have worked really well and another branding strategy did not. So let me know how the audio is on this, since we're still, testing out microphone things. All right. So, In the Know is a segment that we're doing. Previously, it was called our Lunch and Learn series, but now we're calling it In the Know. What we do every week is we get together and we talk about some tips and some tricks and some industry trends that help you to kind of understand marketing, digital marketing, things that are happening in your business, how to end your marketing overwhelm, and to kind of get ahead of some industry trends. So, one thing I want to talk about today is why the internet loves Baby Yoda but hates the Mr. Peanut rebrand that they're calling Baby Nut. Like, the internet hates Baby Nut, and it's really kind of um, the hate for it is a little bit intense. Like, I was even surprised by it. Like, I watched the commercial, I was like, oh, okay, that was weird and disappointing. But there are some people who legitimately want to grind Baby Nut into peanut butter, and it's really interesting. So why did this little corporate mascot that's designed to be cute inspire such hate? And so we're going to talk about the differences between those two campaigns today. So I think there are several reasons why why Baby Yoda worked and why Baby Nut did not. First of all is don't name your mascot something that is so weird to say. Like Baby Yoda isn't weird to say, but Baby Nut, that is kind of weird to say out loud. Like, maybe don't first, so just to start off real quick, maybe don't name your products after something that might put your customers on an internet watch list if they're, going to buy your product or search for it online. So, but let's talk about Baby Yoda now for a minute. Baby Yoda was a success, kind of went viral in November and December 2019. Got really, really popular online, was everywhere on Twitter, Facebook. Like, there are tons of Facebook groups donated to him. There's tons of fan art dedicated to it. Other companies are incorporating Baby Yoda into their marketing. Okay, so why did Baby Yoda work so well? So I actually looked into a little bit about what the director did with his thoughts with Baby Yoda. And one thing that he said that he wanted with Baby Yoda is that he actually wanted a puppet used for it. He didn't want CGI used for Baby Yoda, even though that probably would have been, the easier thing to do, the more, that just kind of the easier um, less thought-provoking workflow sort of thing to do. Every so much uses CGI anymore these days that it's really easy. But think about the reactions that we had to Baby Yoda versus the reactions that we had to Yoda from like the first Star Wars, or the Star Wars prequels and then the original Star Wars series. There is something to say about a puppet, something that is real and not an animated character, that actually connects with us there. And not only that, I read up a little bit on what the director was talking about with Baby Yoda, and he said that he wanted the puppet to actually be kind of ugly. He didn't want it to be perfect, because if it was perfect, it wasn't going to have like that emotional connection with us or something like that. So it was a very interesting choice, and it's not one that I think a lot of filmmakers would make anymore. But what ended up being the result of that is that everybody loves Baby Yoda. It's not a perfect visual, like on screen, you look at it, it's not perfect. But think about the two different Yodas from like the prequels and the original trilogy as well. So the Yoda from the prequels can, jump all over the place and do all these cool things. The Yoda from the original series just kind of, sits there and moves around awkwardly. But, one of those actually is more authentic to us, because it actually I mean, one of them, I think the animated stuff moves into the realm of uncanny valley territory, and in our brains, we don't really connect with it as far as storytelling goes. You have to think about this in terms of like storytelling and psychology here. The animated CGI characters don't really connect with us on the same level because they're not real, they're unrealistic. They move into this uncanny valley with the way that they move or the way that they react to their environment around it. Like our brains can tell that it's not real. Whereas with the puppets, there is that more our brains can recognize that there's actually something physical there, and it seems to work better with the storytelling. Okay, so that's about a movie with a character that went absolutely viral. What about this branding campaign from Mr. Peanut? All right, so what is going on with Mr. Peanut? A little bit of background here. The company Planters, they started a campaign just a little bit before Super Bowl where they wanted to, it looked like they were going to rebrand their company. And so it started off with this great marketing campaign, kind of shocking. People, they literally threw Mr. Peanut off a cliff and he died in a fiery crash. And for a little bit, like that kind of went viral online, and people were like, oh, are they going to do something different? What's going to happen from it? And I was like, kind of excited to see like, okay, what are they going to do with this? What direction are they going to go? Are they going to do some exciting rebrand or something like that? It seemed like it was a risky move for them to take this character that had been their mascot for over 100 years and completely change up their brand. But then Super Bowl comes around. Oh, and then to do it at on a platform of like a Super Bowl ad, like that is kind of a risky branding move to be like, hey, if we're going to do this right now, get rid of our character and launch our new brand at the Super Bowl. Like that's a little bit crazy. And it seemed like at first it was getting a positive reaction. And then the ad came at the Super Bowl and it was Baby Nut. And the internet hated it. Hated it. So, all right, what happened here? Like, why did one cute baby thing go viral and work super well, but this baby nut thing didn't work? Like, why do people hate it so much? And so I think there's a couple things here. First, it started off with this great marketing campaign that looked like it was going to take a risk and do something that was new and fresh. And then it went back to being the same old thing. So it kind of built up this hype and then let us down. Just wasn't anything. It just wasn't anything super interesting. So, so people were disappointed. Kind of a letdown of expectations. Next is that. So remember how I was talking about how the puppets seem to connect with us and the animated images didn't. Well, if an animated image in the context of a movie where like diehard fans are watching this and they don't even like it, what's going to happen when a corporate like company tries to force that into a brand? It's going to come across as really inauthentic. It's not going to connect with us. It's not going to connect with the part of our brains that tell a story. So yes, while Planters was trying to tell a story with their marketing campaign leading up to the Super Bowl ad, they didn't close off the story very well, and so they ended up with this mascot that seemed inauthentic and had like this element of forced cuteness. So remember I was saying that the director deliberately made the Baby Yoda puppet seem kind of ugly, right? There was nothing like that with Baby Nut. In fact, Baby Nut is designed to be like perfectly cute. They even have like they've even went on their Twitter account and they've started tweeting in baby talk, which like, oh, okay. So, and then they've had other brands kind of jumping in to amplify this new brand, like amplify this baby nut stuff. And apparently also Planters went through and started creating Twitter accounts that had memes like ready to go with baby nut before the Super Bowl, and those accounts ended up getting suspended shortly after the Super Bowl when they started tweeting memes. So all of this, because people online are not stupid. They can tell when these sorts of things are happening. All of this comes together to feel extremely inauthentic and forced, like we're having this cute thing forced on us. So the way that the campaign came about seems really inauthentic. It was obviously like planned in a marketing office and had a lot of money behind it because they were going out and creating all these different accounts and coordinating with all these other brands to actually amplify it. And then just the element of how perfectly cute it is also seems really inauthentic and really forced. So all of this comes across and just feels super inauthentic to consumers online. Consumers who, you have to remember, are living on the internet and in this age of really gritty memes. Like, okay, literally, Gritty, the mascot from I can't remember the Philadelphia team, but like literally Gritty, the mascot, became a meme, became a beloved character because he's weird and out there and like so far from perfect, and that it's just, people love it. So for a brand to go the other direction and create something that's so perfectly cute doesn't resonate with people anymore, and it in fact inspires a backlash. So people online right now, consumers online, really don't like it when it comes across like a brand is trying too hard. And what it seems like was happening here is, the way I saw it online is somebody described it as a Don Draper type marketing firm got together in their offices and scribbled on the back of a napkin 3 lines: Baby Groot, Baby Yoda, Baby Nut. There you go. So it's really does seem like it became like this attempt to capitalize on a trend, that just came across as really inauthentic and forced rather than something that was fun and cute. And then they tried to force the issue further by creating these meme accounts that would push these memes out there, and kind of astroturf this virality rather than letting something happen naturally and organically like Baby Yoda did. Now, remember with Baby Yoda, when Baby Yoda started going viral, there was no merchandise that you could get for it. People were like going out there and like there weren't memes being created by it because initially memes that were being created were being shut down on the internet for being copyright violations. So it became like this very grassroots thing for Baby Yoda to go viral. And when I say no merchandise, like literally, I was in Disney World right around Christmas, right when Baby Yoda was at the height of virality, and all that was happening, like all that was available with Baby Yoda stuff was stickers, which are super easy to make. So I don't think that it wasn't that they didn't plan for virality with it, or they didn't plan for the character to be super popular, but they didn't want to release spoilers. But what it ended up doing is it ended up creating this bubbling grassroots effect with Baby Yoda. Whereas with Baby Nut, they literally had not only these accounts ready to start pushing out these memes, they also had merchandise ready for people to purchase, thinking that, oh yeah, it's going to be such a viral hit. People are going to want to wear shirts with this sort of thing. And like, so in some ways, if you are going to try to engineer a viral campaign, you got to make people, you've got to make it so that demand really outstrips your supply of stuff. Make it so that it becomes like this bubbling effect of like, oh, I can't find anything about this. Well, then I'm going to kind of like put something together myself. I'm going to create this fan art. I'm going to create my own meme. I'm going to do all this sorts of stuff. And then later on, after you see the demand come out of it, then start releasing merchandise sorts of things. Suppress the supply side a little bit to like build up that demand. But in general, just like don't be inauthentic about this. Yeah, so a couple of other comments that I read on the internet that I just think were really interesting to kind of think about when you're creating this brand here, is that the this whole marketing tactic kind of evokes, like what I said earlier, this Don Draper style of marketing that everybody really hates now. Like, okay, my generation, we grew up with the Saturday morning cartoons, and it's always got, the cartoon character that's there, hawking some sugary treat or something like that, like the cereals or that sort of thing. Like, we get what the mascots are there to do. They're there to represent a brand. And so when you try when you have like this perfect storm of things, of like a marketing campaign feeling like it's going to do something risky and fresh and new, you have this character that is, and I'm going to quote this because I love this line, this character that is designed to be cute but is hellish in real life. um, it's so perfectly cute, it just triggers that uncanny valley feeling in our heads, and we can't get past the it's just kind of creepy. So you have and then you have something where it feels like this astroturfed campaign to make it go viral, and all these things come together, and it just feels like this gross marketing strategies that we that, yes, used to work very well, but now just comes across to people who are online all the time, who see ads all the time, as very inauthentic. Because, I mean, you have to remember, like, when we're online, we are seeing thousands of ads all the time. We are always being advertised to, and people are burnt out on ads. So if you're going to try to create something that goes viral, it can't seem like you are like deliberately marketing to somebody. It can't seem like you're inauthentically trying to force something to go viral. And that's why I think that Baby Yoda succeeded, because it didn't try to force the issue, where Baby Nut was definitely trying to astroturf their virality. All right, that's today's session of In the Know. I really hope that this was kind of some helpful insight into kind of how things work with branding and marketing. We will see you next time.